Zohran Mamdani's campaign for New York City mayor has captured national attention, not simply because of his progressive platform, but because of the extraordinary story woven into his family's legacy. A tale of exile, resilience, and creative brilliance that shaped the man who now stands at the threshold of leading America's largest city. Born in Kampala, Uganda, 5 years after his father's triumphant return from exile, Zohran Mamdani entered a world still healing from dictatorship's wounds. His father, Mahmoud Mamdani, stands as one of Africa's most brilliant political minds, a scholar who was violently expelled from his homeland in 1972 when dictator Idi Amin targeted Uganda's Indian community. By 1984, the government stripped him of his citizenship entirely, punishment for daring to challenge authoritarianism. Yet, stateless and undeterred, Mahmoud returned in 1986 to help rebuild the nation that had rejected him. Meanwhile, Zohran's mother is the legendary Mira Nair, the visionary filmmaker who gave us Monsoon Wedding and Mississippi Masala, the director who made Denzel Washington a romantic lead years before the world crowned him People's Sexiest Man Alive. This powerhouse couple, both Harvard graduates and global voices committed to art and activism, created a home where dinner table conversations seamlessly blended justice, politics, and storytelling into one passionate discourse. Together, they represent an intellectual force that shaped their son's worldview from his earliest days. With Mahmoud currently teaching at Columbia University, it's hardly surprising that Zohran grew up immersed in discussions about social justice, political theory, and the power of narrative, often all at the same time, around the same table. The family's journey took them from Uganda to South Africa when Zohran was 5, then finally to New York when he turned 7. By high school, he had become fluent in navigating multiple worlds, cultural, political, and literal. After graduating from the prestigious Bronx High School of Science, he pursued Africana Studies at Bowdoin College in Maine. Before entering politics, Zohran worked on the front lines as a housing counselor, fighting to prevent evictions across New York City's 5 boroughs. He describes those years as transformative, the crucible where idealism confronted reality. But there's an unexpected twist in his story. Zohran possessed a creative side that rivaled his political passion. For several years, he produced hip-hop music under the stage name Mr. Cardamom, fusing his mother's artistic DNA with the raw authenticity of urban life. This past year, Mira Nair stepped away from filmmaking entirely to support her son's audacious run for mayor, spending her days preparing biryani and chicken for exhausted campaign volunteers. His father, now 79, reflects with characteristic wit. We hadn't bargained for becoming the parents of a prospective mayor. Then came the shock that rippled through New York politics. Zohran Mamdani pulled off one of the city's most stunning upsets, winning the Democratic mayoral primary in a decisive victory that defied every political forecast. But while Zohran commanded center stage with his laser focus on making New York affordable for working families, someone else quietly captured the public's imagination: his wife. Yes, Zohran Mamdani is married, and his wife, Rama Dawaji, is a Syrian artist whose creative credentials are nothing short of impressive. Throughout his campaign, you wouldn't have known it. Zohran remained intensely focused, revealing virtually nothing about his personal life. So when Rama made her first major public appearance on election night, standing beside him as victory became reality, curiosity exploded. Who was this woman? The answer? Rama is an extraordinarily talented Syrian artist specializing in illustration and animation. Her work has graced the pages of The Washington Post and The New Yorker, and her event posters have become fixtures across New York City. She's the rare person who communicates more through her art than most politicians convey in a dozen press conferences. And honestly, there's something refreshing about that. So, how did these two extraordinary people find each other? Not through political circles and not at some Manhattan gallery opening. They met on Hinge. Yes, the same dating app you've probably deleted and reinstalled a dozen times in frustration. The Hinge Kiar team should be taking notes right now. They're already married. Zohan revealed in an interview that they sealed their commitment in a civil ceremony earlier this year at New York City's clerk's office. But before that official paperwork, they celebrated with Rama's family in Dubai. Photos from the gathering radiate joy and warmth. And despite online critics trying to spin it as extravagant, the venue was remarkably modest. Ceremonies there cost approximately $72 per guest, essentially the price of dinner and drinks in Manhattan. Still, once the relationship became public, internet trolls descended. They accused Mamdani of hiding his wife and attacked Rama for using her art to support the pro-Palestinian movement. Some attempted to manufacture scandal around their Dubai celebration, but Mamdani refused to play defense. He posted photographs from their civil ceremony on Instagram and confronted the situation directly, writing, "3 months ago, I married the love of my life, Rama. Now right-wing trolls are trying to make this race, which should be about you, about her." He continued forcefully, "Rama isn't just my wife. She's an incredible artist who deserves to be known on her own terms. You can critique my views, but my family is off limits." It was a clear, powerful response that drew a line in the sand. While Rama has largely remained silent throughout the controversy, she did share a touching Election Day message, a photo carousel featuring adorable photo booth pictures from an Eid celebration, the classic "I voted" sticker selfie, and a childhood snapshot of Zohran that honestly belongs in a campaign advertisement. Her caption was simple and heartfelt. Couldn't possibly be prouder. How perfect is that? And speaking of New York power players, let's shift our attention to the woman who might be his most significant political match, though not romantically, of course. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez may be helping shape the city's next mayor, but her own love story has been capturing just as much attention lately. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her fiancé, Riley Roberts, have been engaged since 2022, but their story began over a decade ago when both were students at Boston University. This wasn't some Hollywood meet-cute moment. As AOC herself described it, their romance blossomed in, quote, true nerdy fashion. They regularly attended Coffee and Conversations, a weekly student town hall where participants debated everything from the war in Afghanistan to pop culture phenomena. Riley wasn't just a quiet observer in the back row. According to AOC's college friend Eric Baker, Riley deliberately threw provocative opinions into the mix just to spark deeper thinking. Baker described him as, quote, probably smarter than anyone you've ever met, and, quote, someone who genuinely thrived on intellectual combat. Sounds intense, right? Well, apparently, AOC was drawn to exactly that energy. But after graduation, they went their separate ways. Riley returned to Arizona while AOC remained on the East Coast. That chapter seemed permanently closed until around 2015 when fate, or perhaps destiny, brought them back together. AOC's mother revealed to the Daily Mail that the couple reconnected, and eventually Riley relocated to New York, working remotely from their Bronx apartment. By 2022, AOC had evolved from rising political star to full-blown powerhouse. That's when Riley decided to propose. But here's the twist that makes the story even better. AOC wasn't immediately sold on the idea. She actually told him he'd have to woo her all over again. Honestly, that energy is admirable. Alexandria admitted she needed convincing, especially considering how dramatically their lives had transformed. But ultimately, she recognized something rare. Riley wasn't intimidated by her success. In fact, he celebrated it wholeheartedly. They got engaged in April 2022 while visiting her family's hometown in Puerto Rico. Alexandria confirmed the news on social media, adding, "No future details yet. We're taking some space to savor this time before diving into planning." So who exactly is Riley Roberts? He's originally from Arizona and studied sociology and finance at Boston University. After graduation, he helped small businesses build their websites and worked in UX growth consulting. He's also deployed those skills behind the scenes to support AOC, particularly during her early campaigns. Riley is the type of person who actively prefers staying out of the spotlight. If you've ever wondered why you barely see him on AOC social media, now you understand why. AOC has openly stated that, unlike some men she dated in the past, Riley didn't panic when she stepped into her full power. Instead, he leaned in completely. She told GQ magazine that he's been deeply engaging and that he's not merely watching her journey from the sidelines, he's fully in it with her, using their shared experiences as opportunities for mutual growth.